identifying of formal charges. Formal charges, either positive or negative, we must often include in our drawings. They are extremely important. If you don't draw a formal charges when it's supposed to be drawn, then your drawing will be incomplete or wrong. So you must learn how to identify when you need formal charges and how to draw them. If you cannot do this, then you will not be able to draw resonance structures, which we discussed in chapter 2. A formal charge is a charge associated with an atom that does not exhibit expected number of valence electrons. When calculating the formal charge of an atom, we first need to know the number of valence electrons the atom is supposed to have. We can get this number by inspecting the periodic table, since each column of the periodic table indicates the number of expected valence electrons. For example, carbon is in column 4A, and therefore carbon has 4 valence electrons. Let's see an example. So we need to consider the central carbon atom in the compound below. So we have this compound. Remember that every bond represents 2 electrons being shared between 2 atoms. By splitting each bond apart, placing 1 electron on this atom and 1 electron on that atom. So we have here. Now, count the number of electrons immediately surrounding the central carbon atom. So we have 4 valence electrons. There are 4 electrons. This is the number of electrons that the atom actually has. Now, we are in position to compare how many valence electrons the atom is supposed to have. So in this case, we have 4, with how many valence electrons it actually has. Since these numbers are the same, the carbon atoms has no formal charge. But in some cases, there will be a difference between the number of electrons the atom is supposed to have and the number of electrons the atom actually has. In those cases, there will be a formal charge. So let's see an example of an atom that has a formal charge. Consider oxygen atom in the structure below. So oxygen is placed in the column group 6A. So it has 6 valence electrons. So let's begin by determining the number of valence electrons that an oxygen is supposed to have. So oxygen is in column 6A. So as I've said earlier of the periodic table, so oxygen should have 6 valence electrons. Next, we need to look at an oxygen atom in this compound and ask how many valence electrons it actually has. So we redraw the structure by splitting up this carbon and oxygen bond. So now we have the 7 valence electrons, and now we have a lone pair. In addition to the electron of oxygen from the carbon and oxygen bond, the oxygen also has 3 lone pairs. A lone pair is when you have 2 electrons that are not being used to form a bond. Lone pairs are drawn as 2 dots on an atom, and the oxygen above has 3 of these lone pairs. You must remember to count each lone pairs as 2 electrons, so we see that the oxygen atom actually has 7 electrons, which is 1 more electron than it is supposed to have. Therefore, it will have a negative charge. So, exercise. Consider the nitrogen atom in the structure below and determine if it has a formal charge. So, nitrogen is in a column 5A with the periodic table, so it should have 5 valence electrons. Now, we count how many actually it has. So, in this case, we have 4 valence electrons in the central nitrogen. And so, it has only less electron that is supposed to have. Therefore, this nitrogen has a positive charge. Finding lone pairs that are not drawn. So, from all of the cases above, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, you can see why you have to know how many lone pairs there are on atom in order to figure out the formal charge on that atom. Similarly, you have to know the formal charge to figure out how many lone pairs there are on an atom. Take case below with the nitrogen atom shown. So, this could either be this or this. It could either be negative or positive. If the lone pairs were drawn, then we would be able to figure out the charge. Two lone pairs would mean a negative charge and one lone pair would mean a positive charge. Similarly, if the former charge was drawn, we would be able to figure out how many lone pairs are there. A negative charge would mean two lone pairs and a positive charge would mean one lone pair. So you can see that drawings must include either lone pairs or formal charges. Now that we have established the formal charges, we always must be drawn and that lone pairs are usually not drawn. We need to get practice in how to see the lone pairs when they are not drawn. This is not much different from training yourself to see all the hydrogen atoms in a band line drawing, even though they are not drawn. So let's see an example to demonstrate how you do this. So we have a molecule here with a negative charge. So in this case, we are looking at an oxygen atom. Oxygen atom is in column 6A of the periodic table, so it is supposed to have 6 valence electrons. Then, we need to take the formal charge into account. This oxygen has a negative charge, which means 1 extra electron. Therefore, this oxygen atom must have 6 plus 1 equals 7 valence electrons. Now we can figure out how many lone pairs are there. The oxygen atom has one bond, which means that it is using one of its 7 electrons to form a bond. The other 6 must be in lone pairs. Since each lone pair is 2 electrons, this means that 3 are lone pairs. So this is the same as this. So let's review the process. First, count the number of valence electrons the atom should have according to the periodic table. Second, take a formal charge into account. A negative charge means one more electron and a positive charge means one less electron. Third, now you must know the number of valence electrons the atom actually has. Use this number to figure out how many lone pairs are there. So that's it. I hope you understand something new about this topic, bond line drawings, and hoping to see you in another type of these discussions. Thank